Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Sri Dakshinamurti Sudeshi Kendram Dvaipayanam Sutrakritam Munindram Sri Shankaram Bhashyakritam Yatindram Maddeshi Kanchapi Namami Vityai Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsarishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyah Sarvopaplavarahita Prajnana Ganaha Pratyagarto Brahmaivahamasmi Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mritaduhe Namaha Om Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. Pranams everyone. So we have done, we are in chapter 1 and we were doing Slokas 31 to 34 in the last class. Basically that is the time when actually Arjuna's delusion comes to the fore. And Arjuna now starts talking, and he talks in such a way that basically he started looking all dharma as adharma and adharma as dharma. And he is not able to see them as people who have violated dharma, as in the people on the sides of Kauravas. He has started seeing them as swajanam, his own. And he says he is not desirous of sense objects or pleasures or kingdom. That is what he mentioned in the Sloka 33. And Sloka 34, he basically told who they are. And when he had to tell who they are, he gave a list of all the relations. Acharyaha, pitaraha, ātatāyinaḥ putraha, pitamahaha, matulaha, shvashuraha, pautraha, shyalaha, sambandinaha. So all these people who are my own relatives, for their sake, only for their sake we should actually have these kingdom and pleasures. But what is the use of these things, the kingdom pleasures and the sense pleasures and the sukham, if they are to be killed? So this is Arjuna's point of view right now. So Arjuna's view has changed from dharma to adharma. Rather, he is seeing all this dharma as adharma and adharma as dharma. He seems to have the attachment that he has on his people has come to the fore. So it is not compassion that he has in his mind, it is more an attachment. Now Arjuna is continuing his laments. So we will continue Sloka number 35. Arjuna uvacha etan nahantum ichchami natopi Madhusudana api trailokya rajyasya heto kim nu mahi krite etan nahantum ichchami natopi Madhusudana api trailokya rajyasya heto kim nu mahi krite. So Arjuna, now that he has given his position, he wants to ensure that whatever Bhagavan may have as counter questions to him, he wants to preempt that. So he is saying, right now he said, I don't want to kill them for the sake of kingdom, pleasures and sense objects. Right? So he wants to show that he is compassionate. So Bhagavan might counter question him and say, Arjuna, you may not want to kill them, but they may not have the same state of mind as yours. So they could still be looking to, defeat you and kill you in this war. So Arjuna knows that what happens, or Arjuna is thinking, if Bhagavan comes up with this kind of point of view, then how should he answer them? So Arjuna here he says, even if I am killed, it does not matter. I won't kill them. And not only he wants to make it clear, he wants to make it clear that not just for Hastinapura that I want to kill them. Even if I am offered all the three worlds to me, I would not want to kill them. I will not kill them. Even if the three lokas is at stake, by killing them I'm going to get all the three lokas, I will not kill them. Then even if that is my position, then what is the use of just Hastinapura? I will not even think about it. So we'll go to the sloka. Etanna hantum ichchami. Etanna hantum ichchami. Hantum means to kill. Etan means these people. To kill these people. Hantum. Etanna hantum ichchami. Ichchami means na ichchami. Etanna hantum na ichchami. Na ichchami means I do not desire. I do not desire to kill these people. And he adds a condition. Gnatopi. Gnataha. Gnataha means they kill me. Nato api means even if they kill me. Gnataha api. Even if they kill me. So, etanna hantum ichchami means I do not desire to kill these people even if they kill me. I do not have a desire to kill these people. That's what Arjuna is saying. Of course, he is addressing him as Madhusudana, O Krishna. Now, why is Arjuna addressing Bhagavan as Madhusudana? Madhusudana is a name of Bhagavan because Madhusudana means destroyer of Madhu the Rakshasa. There was an asura called Madhukaidaba. So Bhagavan, he is saying to Bhagavan, Krishna, you did not have when you killed Madhu, the Rakshasa, killing that Rakshasa is easy. You know, he was not your relation. He was not related to you. So you could have killed him, doesn't matter. But here, I am not killing any Rakshasa here. I have to kill my own relations. And that's why the term Madhusudana is being used, or he is calling Bhagavan by his name, Madhusudana. But what Arjuna doesn't see here is, Bhagavan has also killed Kamsa, his own uncle. So he did not call him as Kamsa Sudana. He just called him as Madhusudana. Anyway, so he is now trying to come up with this argument. So he is basically picking things only which suits him. This is what we do when we actually are cornered, or when we want to actually justify our actions. We will only pick up things that will suit us, that will be convenient for us. And Arjuna is doing the same. So he says, I do not desire to kill these people, even if they kill me. And then further he says, in the second line he says, Api Trailokya Rajyasya. Api Trailokya Rajyasya. Even for the sake of those three worlds, even if those three worlds are offered to me, Hatohi Kim Nu Mahi Krite. Kim Nu Mahi Krite. Kim Nu Mahi Krite means, why indeed should I fight for the sake of a kingdom? Just for a small kingdom called Hastinapura, which is a small part of one of the worlds, why should I fight? Because even for three worlds, I am not going to fight with them. Kimnu Mahi Krite. So if what are the three lokas? Bhu, Bhuvar, Svar. That's what we say. Bhu, Bhuvar, Svar. So even if those three kingdoms are offered to me, it will not compensate my Bhishma, my Drona, my brothers, my family, my relations. So even if those three lokas are offered to me, I will not kill them. Then what to talk about this small piece of land called Hastinapura? That is what Arjuna's argument here is on Sloka 35. He still continues. Throughout the entire chapter, he is the only person talking here. So we'll continue. 36. Nihatyadartha rashtrannah ka priti sya janardana papamevashraya dasman hatvaitāna ātatāyinaḥ. निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीति स्या जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रये तस्मान् हत्वैतानाततायिनः. Now Arjuna starts going further. He wants to dwell deeper into Dharma Shastras, so to speak. So here he talks about Papa and Punya. Initially, now he talked about from a relation standpoint. He doesn't want to kill them. Now he is going to take it to the next level of justification. He is going to talk from the standpoint of Papa and Punya. Remember, from Sloka 31 until here, his justification were subjective. So first he said, I do not see any Shreyas in this war. Then he said, I don't desire any kingdom, victory or pleasure. That is what he said. Then he said, what is the use of killing these people? Because ideally I should be enjoying this, whatever this pleasure, this kingdom with these people who have assembled here. Then finally he said, even if the three worlds are offered to me, I will not kill them. So all these are very subjective, as in his position. He has been talking from his standpoint only. So again, he could have thought, what Bhagavan says. Bhagavan could say, forget all these things, that your position here, Arjuna, this is a Dharma Yuddha. You will have to fight for establishing Dharma. So what you like or don't like does not matter. So now Arjuna says, Arjuna is now starting a different line of argument from now on. Basically bringing Dharma Shastra into the discussion. The only problem is he is interpreting Dharma Shastra in the wrong manner, or he is stating that wrongly according to his convenience. And what does he say in this sloka? He says, by killing these people, one will incur only papa. If I kill them, I will only get papa. Nihatya dhartarashtrannah ka priti sa janardana. Nihatya means by killing. By killing who? Who are these people? Dhartarashtrannah. The sons of Dhritarashtra, the people of Dhritarashtra, the army of Dhritarashtra, these Kauravas. Ka priti. Ka priti means what? Ka means a what? Priti means happiness. What happiness? By killing these people, what happiness can I get? Syad nah. What happiness can belong to us? And he's again addressing Bhagavan as Janardana. O Krishna. And this is not a question. What happiness can belong to us, Krishna is not asking a question. He is putting an exclamation here. He says, what happiness can come to us by killing these Kauravas? So here, again, Bhagavan could say, doesn't matter about your happiness, Arjuna. You should do it for the sake of Dharma. You should do it for the sake of Punya. Because, in whatever we do, especially with regards to our duties, there are always, our duties can be classified into two. One, those duties that we like to do, and then those duties that we do not like to do. For those that we like to do, we will proudly announce, we will let the world know that I am doing this duty, and even preach others to do this duty, because we like to do. But for those duties, for those things that are actually our responsibilities that we do not like, we will try to give a false justification on why it need not be done or why it should not be done. We will interpret things to our convenience. So here Arjuna is doing the same thing here. What he does in the second line, he says, we will accrue sin We will accrue papa by killing them. Papameva shrayed asman. Papam eva. We will get only papa. We sin alone. Ashrayed asman. Shrayed asman. Shrayed asman means will accrue to us. Ashrayed asman. Ashrayed asman means will accrue to us. And who are these people? And not only that, he says Ashrayed Asman. Asman means he is including to us, means he is including Bhagavan also in this. Bhagavan, Krishna, you will also get this sin. It's not just me. You are also going to get the sin by actually participating in this war. And what does he say? Papameva, for what? Killing these people. Hatvai etan ātatāyinaḥ. Hatva means killing. Etan means these. And who are these people? This is where his confusion comes to the fore. He is saying, who are these people? Are they good people or bad people? Arjuna so far has been saying that these people are my own, swajanam, all these relations he has been giving them. But here, he will have to now tell them, he will have to say whether they are good or bad people. Because papam, we are talking about good papam or punyam, so you will have to now tell or announce whether they are good people or bad people. Now here Arjuna comes up and says, these people are not good people. He calls them ātatāyinaḥ. Ātatāyinaḥ means criminals. They are called as mahapapis. Ātatāyi is actually a technical word used in Dharma Shastras. In Dharma Shastras, there are varieties of papams that are described. And every papam has a gradation. Some papams have got lesser effect. Some papams are the effect or the karma phala that one will get is very bad. And within that, they talk about Panchamahapatakam. Panchamahapatakam. 5 worst types of sins. And those are, first one is anigda, agnida. Agnida means basically burning, agnida, burning down somebody else's house or property. Agnida, that is one. Then it is called as garatha. Garatha means poisoning a person. Then Ashastra Panir. Ashastra Panir means killing another person with a weapon when the other person does not have any weapon in defense. Then it is called, then the fourth papam is called Dhanapana. Dhanapaha. Dhanapaha means stealing another property, stealing another person's property. Dhanapaha. Then finally, Kshetradhara. Kshetradhara means Kshetradhara Apartacha. Apartacha means basically taking another person's property, land or wife. So these are the 5 Mahapatakas. Agnita Garata Chaiva, Ashastrapanir Dhanapaha, Kshetradhara Apahartacha, Panchaite Ātatāyinaḥ. This is what the Subhashitam says. So this Agnida, Garadaha, Ashastrapanir, Dhanapaha, Kshetradhara, Aparartacha. Of these 5 Panchamahapatakas, Panchamahapapams, even if somebody does one of it, he is called as an ātatāyi. And for this papam, Dharma Shastra says, For this papam, the person will get one of the worst outcomes. It's probably defined. What kind of outcome is probably all given in Garuda Purana. So even if somebody does one of this, is called as an ātatāyinaḥ. And what does the Dharma Shastra Niti says for ātatāyinaḥ is, he says ātatāyinam āyantam hanyat avicharayan. It means once a person is identified as an ātatāyinaḥ, the Dharma Shastras, the king should give him capital punishment immediately. He should not even postpone it. So who is a king? Normally a Kshatriya. So a Kshatriya, once he identifies somebody as an ātatāyinaḥ, Kshatriyas are the persons who uphold Dharma. So they should be following Dharma for sure. Then, and if they find somebody who has not followed Dharma, they should restore Dharma. But if they identify this person to be an ātatāyinaḥ, then that person should be given capital punishment immediately by the Kshatriya. Otherwise, the Kshatriya will incur sin. Now, even if one papa they do, they are considered as ātatāyinaḥ. Now, for Duryodhana and Dushasana, they have done all 5 of them. They have burned the lakh house. When the Pandavas had made one house, they actually burnt them down. They had poisoned Bhima. They had kidnapped Draupadi. They have done everything. They have done all of the 5. And therefore, they are not actually ordinary ātatāyinaḥ. They are maha ātatāyinaḥ. And therefore, Duryodhana should have got immediate capital punishment. But then look at what Arjuna says. He says, these people are ātatāyinaḥ, and therefore if we kill them, we will get papa. So this shows his vision is clouded. Papameva ashrayed asman. Papameva ashrayed asman. We will incur only papa because of this. And why is it so? Because his mind is deluded. His mind is moha, is full of moha. The moha comes out of the attachment. That's why when our relations, when our own son makes, so when we go out, our children go out and they get into a fight with somebody, we will try to justify why they are not wrong. But if somebody, the neighbor's son goes out and gets involved in a fight, we will say, oh, that boy is always like that. I have seen him. He is not right. He is not right. He always gets into trouble. So if it is ours, we will justify. That's all delusion. That's all comes out of delusion. The delusion comes out of attachment. And that attachment or the delusion it is not evident to us when we are in that state. Because if we come to know that we are deluded, we will come out of delusion immediately. But at that time, we will not know. So here, Arjuna is in the same state. He says, "O Janardana, by killing these Kauravas, what happiness can belong to us? What happiness can come to us? After all, killing these ātatāyinaḥs, killing these mahapapis, killing these criminals will get us only sin. Only sin will accrue to us." So this is Sloka 36. Arjuna's delusion coming to the fore. Arjuna starting the point of argument from a Dharma Shastra standpoint. And he is going to continue. Sloka 37. Tasman narha vayam hantum tartarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hikatam hatva Sukinasyama Madhava Tasman Narha Vayam Hantum Dhartarashtran Swabandhavan Swajanam Hikatam Hatva Sukinasyama Madhava. Again, Arjuna is saying, how can we kill our own people? So once he, now ātatāyinaḥ, he said, he again goes back, how can we kill our own people? Again, in this sloka also, you have to take note of the word Swabandhavan. The first line, last word, Swabandhavan. Then the second line, first word, Swajanam. Our people, our people. He uses this word. It means our kith and kin. So which means, after talking this, we should not kill this ātatāyinaḥ. Only if we kill them, sin will accrue. Arjuna probably realized it, that he is contradicting himself. So now he is saying, so what even if they are ātatāyinaḥ? They are our people. This is what happens to us also when it is our own people. We try to justify. We might have clear understanding of Dharma Shastras, or we might be able to give clearly what a person needs to do. In the case of what we saw as Dharma Sankata, we will be able to clearly advise others. But when it comes to our own, we will not be able to do it. And this is the case of Arjuna. Arjuna now has said, these people are ātatāyinaḥ, by killing them we will get sin. Now he realized he has not made a sense. So he is just adding this sentence, saying, these are my people, these are our people. So we should not kill them. So Arjuna has no confusion on dharma and adharma. He has that knowledge already. But where is his problem? What is his problem? His problem is application of dharma. And that is the problem for all of us. We know what is right, what is wrong. We know we should not get angry. We all know that. We will also advise others on how you can ensure that you don't get angry. How can you avoid becoming angry and all. All these things we will be able to explain in theory. And even practical tips we can give. But the problem will come only when we have to apply it on our own life, on our own situations. And what do we do when we are not able to apply it? We tend to give excuses. So typically we have always two scales, one for others and one for self. Same thing, if our child is silent, we will say, he is a very obedient boy. If it is others, we will say, this person, he doesn't know how to mingle with people. So the same situation, for others we use a different way of expressing. For us it is different. Again, if our children are very playful, we'll say, our children is playful, we say he is very active. If the neighbor's child is very playful, we'll say he is very naughty. So same thing. Same situation, explanation is different. What do? If the other person we don't like, we add a little bit of poison. We exaggerate. We give a negative connotation. If the other person is somebody whom we like, we give a positive spin to it. Same thing happens to Arjuna here. Arjuna says, Dharma Shastras are there. But he's telling Krishna, the Dharma Shastras are there, but these are our relatives. He says, Tasmat arha na hantum vayam tasmat vayam arha na hantum. Therefore, tasmat means therefore, vayam means we, therefore we. Again, he is bringing Krishna inside this. Arha nantum, we should not kill. Whom we should not kill? Dhardarashtran, the Kauravas. Who are these Dhardarashtras? Who are these Kauravas? Swabandhavan, who are our relatives. Therefore, we should not kill Kauravas who are our relatives. And then again an exclamation, Arjuna says, Swajanam hi katam hatva. How can we kill our own people? How can we, by killing our own people, Sukhina Syama Madhava? How can we even be happy by killing our people? Again, Madhava, oh Krishna. So he is basically saying, oh Krishna, therefore we should not kill these Kauravas who are our relatives. For how can we be happy by killing our people? So this is the confusion that Arjuna has now. His attachment towards Drona and Bhishma is overpowering his knowledge and his discrimination on dharma and adharma. When we talk about this, I remember, at least in some years back when I was watching television and others, there used to be this called as Patti Mandapam or debates where they will talk whether, Vibhishana was right or Kumbhakarna was right, or whether Karna was correct or Arjuna was correct, all these things. And people will try to justify, and at the end of the story, at the end of the day, they may even say Kumbhakarna was right, or Karna was better than Arjuna and all those things. So when we talk about between Vibhishana and Kumbhakarna, though Kumbhakarna and Maricha were grateful to Ravana and stood by them, Vibhishana was even better because Vibhishana stood by Dharma. He was in Sattva Guna and he did not care whether Ravana was his brother or not. He stood by Dharma. So both Kumbhakarna and Karna, they looked from their personal standpoint. He helped me. He is my brother. Karna looked at Duryodhana and said, he took care of me when I most needed. And from their personal relationship standpoints, they looked at it. They did not look at it from the universal Dharma standpoint. And both for Kumbhakarna and Karna, their Rajo and Tamo gunas were high. And therefore, they took a narrow view of viewing it from their selfish mind standpoint. Whereas Vibhishana had a broader view and he stood by Dharma. Therefore, these kind of debates, for me, it shouldn't be the case at all. There shouldn't be any debate. Vibhishana was definitely better than Kumbhakarna, and Karna taking the side of Duryodhana just because Duryodhana had helped him and not actually standing up for Dharma is also not right. In our lives also, we will encounter where we may have to choose between our relationship and Dharma, and we should ensure that we should look to only go towards Dharma. Arjuna has the same problem. That's why, this sloka itself, he says swajanam, swabandhavan, swa, mine. His attitude towards the people and the war should have been completely different. It should not have been swa. For him or for these people, happiness is more important. Dharma is not important. So their view or his view here is we can sacrifice dharma for the sake of happiness. This is the indirect conclusion of Arjuna. Arjuna says they have made mistakes. They are ātatāyinaḥ. They are mahapapis. But they are my relatives, our relatives. Therefore, they should not be killed. This is, and because why? We will not be happy. How can we be happy? Katam syama sukhinah. He says, right? Sukhina syama madhava. Swajanam hi katam hatva. Sukhina syama madhava. By killing them, we will not be happy. So my happiness is more important than dharma. That is Arjuna's conclusion here. And the Gita's teaching exactly is the opposite. Gita teaching says dharma is more important than your happiness, because without dharma you will not be happy anyway. This happiness may be temporary or will not even last long, or this happiness is not real happiness also. So this is Arjuna's conclusion now. Sloka 37. Then now 37 onwards, he is now taking a different angle. We will see. Sloka 37. Yadyapyetena pashyanti lobopahata chetasah kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam. Yadyapyetena pashyanti lobopahata chetasah kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam. So initially he spoke from his personal standpoint. Then he now argued from the state of Papa and Punya Dharma Shastras. There he actually encountered a problem. He was contradicting himself, and therefore he came back to the point of saying these are all my people, and by killing them we will not be happy. So he ended that argument. Now he is looking at the third angle. He is basically saying to Krishna, Krishna, forget that. Look at the consequences of this war. This is another point of view that people will say. Bhagavan had asked Arjuna to fight and see how many people were killed. So look at the consequences of the war, Bhagavan, Krishna. It should not be fought. From that standpoint. So this is the last perspective he gives. He says, if we look at the consequences that this war will bring, then if we look deeply into it, we will realize that we should not fight this war. Bhagavan could come back with a statement saying that, but Arjuna, why are you looking into the consequences? They should also be looking into the consequences. So even if you are not willing to fight this war, they are ready to fight this war. And therefore the consequences can happen. The same consequences can happen. So Arjuna is basically preempting that also. He says, I don't worry about whether they think the same way or not, but we should be bothered. He wants Bhagavan and himself to take the moral high ground and says we should be bothered about the consequences of war. See, generally what happens is, whenever somebody does a mistake, what we generally do, we will use a harsh word on that person. Or when he actually, when somebody actually uses a harsh word on us, we tend to use an even more harsher word on that person. Then what happens? They will try to hurt us even more through the words. Then we will try to hurt them even more than that. So first degree, then second degree, then they will take the third degree, then we will take the fourth degree. In that way, the argument continues and there will be no end to fight at all. This feeling of immediately hitting back, this feeling of revenge, is inherent in all of us. So if someone uses a wrong word on me, or says something wrong about me, says something bad about me, I want to get back at that person. And what happens if somebody tries to mediate between us? What we'll say? We'll ask him, why can't the other person stop? Why are you asking me to stop? And generally what happens? When will the fight end? The fight will end. Who, when wronged, does not do any pratikaram, as in does not hit back, and who is magnanimous to forgive the other person. Only then the fight will end. Only one of the persons will have to do that. Will have to take ensure that they do not do any pratikaram and stops the fight and forgives the other person. And when that person forgives the other person, does not do any pratikaram, what happens generally speaking is, generally the strength of that person, the strength, when I say the mental strength, or rather the person gets stronger in mind. That person gets more strength. But generally we tend to think otherwise. We think that if I don't retaliate, if I don't hit back, if I don't get back on person, if I don't hit back on time, I will be seen as a weak person. This is what generally people think. But actually speaking, if this person is able to take that blow, as in through words, and is not reacting, and is able to forgive, then this person's strength goes up. The mental strength goes up. Let me finish this and then I'll come back to the questions to people who have raised their hands. See, if one person or if one side is able to adjust and sacrifice something, what happens is we will have a peaceful society, we will have a peaceful environment. In any kind of relationship, it is important to maintain peace. Otherwise, the relationship will not sustain. In every relationship, there will be some troubles, some issues. And if we want to save that relationship, we should be able to sacrifice something. And by sacrificing something, we might outward on the outside, people might think that actually we are getting weaker, but we are not. If we are taking a conscious decision not to retaliate, but to forgive, our mental strength will increase. Our spiritual growth will also accelerate. Now, I'll take questions. Vijay? Okay. Ashish ji?
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I good? No. Sometimes we try to maintain relationships, but then others in the family also get offended and try to tell that we should not maintain. Then what to do? Maybe we are able to let go of that situation and want to continue. But then sometimes these are all group relations. Then what to do?
So the others say what? Others ask you to retaliate? Is it?
Retaliate or not maintain that relationship. Then what to do?
No, see, you need not retaliate and still not maintain relationship, right? You can continue to do that. So that if the relationship is not going to be important enough for you to sustain it through your lifetime, you can avoid that relationship. Doesn't matter. The question here is only whether we are asked to retaliate or not. It's only about that I am talking.
Okay then.
if the relationship is not all relations are must to be maintained until the end of our lifetime. Most of the relationships are very temporary. In fact, Shastram goes back and says even the husband-wife relationship is only very temporary in the whole scheme of things. If we really look at it, in this life we are husband and wife. In the next life, in the previous life, who was our husband, who was our wife, who God knows, or who will be our husband or who will be our wife, we don't know.
Okay, thank you. That's deep, but okay, trying. Thank you.
Ashish ji?
Yeah, actually two ways in which I'm just thinking about the situation, and I want clarification on that, or the confusion to be cleared. I think a lot of time the behavior of people develops based on what they experience in response to their behavior, right? And I'm talking about both from our domestic, our family, our wider family, as well as society perspective. In the broader society, we see the lumpen elements which grow and become a threat to the society. At the end of the day, they rule through fear, and that fear they are able to inculcate because they behave in a way and we respond with fear. And that fear can only be controlled if someone shows to the rest of the people that they can be handled, right? That's someone who that can be in the wider society sense is a different point. Within the family, there could be an unruly child, or forget the child has grown up, but then starts behaving, it's a grown up, but they start behaving in a particular way and they get a response which is subdued. So they feel emboldened to continue with that behavior. Now, yes, you can try, you will have to retaliate in one sense by making them sit down and understand that, look, what you're doing is wrong, how it is hurting others, how it is not good for the wider family or the wider society, whichever way. But that itself is a retaliation in a way, right? So I'm sure that when you were saying that you should not retaliate, you mean to say that it should not be done with a negative energy of trying to, hurt the other person in response to the hurt they are causing. But there is a positive way of responding to that situation, but because that helps in controlling that behavior, right? And I think that must definitely be
employed.
Must definitely be positive and must definitely be done, right?
Okay, I mean, you are right. When I said it's only negative retaliation should be avoided. Positive way of actually letting them know that they are wrong can be done. In fact, should be done if the person is doing wrong. But even there, we may have to just take a call on whether that responsibility of showing them the mirror or letting them know what they are doing is actually our responsibility. We are not here to change others. We have come here in this world to change ourselves. Of course, if it is actually hurting or if it is actually hindering our daily, because we have to interact with them on a daily basis. Say, for example, it happens to be a colleague or it happens to be somebody in the family member, and we have to deal with them on a daily basis. Then obviously we will have to let them know that this is not right and this should be avoided and it is not the correct way. So that's fine. But even there, you will have to say whether it is our responsibility, because again, sometimes we take over interest in some other people, because we will say that, look at that person. Suppose that person may not be relevant to us in our lifetime at all, but we just look at that person and say, look at these guys, they are actually behaving badly, they are doing this and that. How does that even concern us? And sometimes what happens is we get agitated, we get anxiety, and we try to justify our actions based on what they are doing. We say, I am actually better than these people, so I can continue to remain where I am, because after all, the worst is we can see even worse people on their around the world, around us. So that kind of justification starts happening. So we should avoid that.
Sure, I hear that, and I think that's a very, very important point to keep in mind. But just another angle I'm throwing away here, because you said that we are here to change ourselves and improve our life and achieve our goal of nirvana. Uh, does that mean that we do not have any Rajasi responsibilities, which means where we see that this could have an impact on people, not just around me, but the wider society? Because a lot of these lumpen elements, how they have come out, someone somewhere, some parent has not kept them under control, some relative has not kept them under control and made them feel that what they are doing is right, which is how it got that positive reaffirmation that I'm doing the right thing, and they continue doing it, and then become first a problem for the family, then the wider family, and then the area, and then the society in general. So don't we all in our journey also have some of these Rajasi responsibilities in a way I'm saying, that we should think in that broader sense?
So in the society, there are supposedly certain functions given to certain areas of governance to actually bring them on to. Suppose if we are talking about, I am talking an example where there is somebody in the society who is giving a lot of problem. Now if suppose, say for example, there is this rowdy behavior who actually creates a problem in the neighborhood, whatever. Suppose if that's the case, then we have somebody within the government, we have somebody who is called police, who are supposed to take action on them. It is not our responsibility. Unless we are police, then we should take responsibility irrespective of the consequences, because this is our duty. Otherwise it's not our responsibility to change the world. Our responsibility is to ensure that I don't fall into the trap of actually justifying my actions or my behavior because there are even worse people around me, or at the same time not try to look at others' fault and try to change them while I have so many other hidden faults which I have not been taken or taking notice of. So I have to focus on what are the things that I have to do, and if I focus on myself, then there is one better person in the society than what it was before. So as a society as a whole gets benefited if I change myself.
Good. Thank you.
So coming back to the sloka, what happens? Arjuna is starting to asking Krishna to look at the consequences. So here he says, Yadyapi Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobo pahata chetasah. Yadyapi, even if, ete, yadyapyete means yadya api ete. Yadyapi means even if, ete means they. Na pashyanti, even if they do not see. What do they not see? Arjuna is saying in the second line. What is the evils of the war? He says. But even before they say what they are not seeing, he says why they are not able to see the evils of the war. He is giving a reason why they are not able to see the evils of the war. Yadyapi ete na pashyanti, even if they do not see the sunas, do not see, why they are not able to see? Lobo pahata chetasah. Chetasah means intellect. The intellect. Lobam means we know, not willing to share. Greed, basically. Opposite of dhanam. Upahata means impacted by, overpowered by, hit by. So he says why they are not able to see the evils of war? Because their intellect is overpowered by greed. So he agrees that that side is bad, and that side is overpowered by greed. And he says, what do they not see? What do these people who are overpowered by greed, what do they not see? Kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra drohe cha patakam. Dosha means evil or fault. What is the fault or what is the evil that will come out of the war? Kulakshaya kritam. Kulakshaya kritam means caused by the destruction of families. So he says this evil consequences of destruction of many families because of the war, because when a male member is killed, and especially in those days the male is the head of the family. We can't say that about that today. In those days he was the only breadwinner. So, and if he is killed, then the whole family is destroyed. And therefore he says patakam. Patakam means and the sin. The sin of actually destroying the families. And not only that, not only destroying the families, there is another sin he is saying here. Mitra drohe. Harming friends. Basically you are doing wrong to your friends, harming a friend, ingratitude, having no gratitude. And he says that is a greater sin. So he says with their intellect overpowered by greed, they do not see the evils caused by the destruction of families and the sin in harming friends. So basically he's giving another, as I said, another argument, another reason why the war should not be fought, why they should not continue with this war. Here, remember, Arjuna is misrepresenting things here. So more on this line of argument. Now this is the last line of argument for Arjuna, but he is going to continue on this for a few more slokas. So more on this and on this line of Arjuna's thought process we will see in the next class. Any questions, comments? If not, we will see again in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.